highlight of our year in Durham. It is what we call Socialist Christmas.
There's that celebration of our history and trade unionism in the past. But alongside that, there's the looking towards the future, looking at the problems and the struggles that we have every day and learning from the past. And in Durham, at the moment, we have a right-wing council that's been elected only on 1/3 of the vote.
When you look at the actual voting, the vast majority didn't turn out to vote. So those people who are the ordinary people of County Durham who care about their community and other people's communities rebelled against reform, and they came today in force. Those streets were lined more than they've been for years and years.
Reform UK don't represent the majority of people. The values that we stand for represent the majority of people. So today is really important.
We even had one in particular saying, why aren't we as elected members invited to the gala? Why would we invite them? They stand against every principle that we stand for. They actually lied to people in our communities who'd voted reform, saying they weren't welcome by the DMA to Durham. That is a blatant lie. We will never ever invite reform councillors onto the platforms and marching if they want. That's their prerogative. That's democracy. That's what we stand for.
The gala stands for inclusivity. That's every race, colour, creed, anybody who is in suffering. The gala stands in solidarity with those people. Why would we want to invite reform who are racist, who are misogynist, who are anti-trans, who are anti-gay, anti-everything that we stand for?
In Durham NEU, we have very much said we are focusing on inform, not reform. We are telling our community why the decisions and the policies that reform are coming out with are wrong. You don't win arguments by screaming at people. You have to understand where they're coming from and explain there's a different way. To attack those who voted for reform. What we have to do is we have to understand why they did that. We live in a community that has been decimated. You know, we lost our mines, we lost our steelworks. People in Durham care about their communities. They do, and they need support.
They're fed up with the political parties, the mainstream political parties that have let them down. Whether it's 14 years of Conservative rule or whether it's 1 year of a Labour government.
In Durham, we are very family orientated. They've came for our grandparents by reducing the winter fuel allowance. They've came for our aunt who has got a disability. They're coming for every single one of us. And the issue is, you're currently looking at a selection of parties, and it's, I can't do that one because we know they screwed us over, and I can't do that one because they're currently screwing us over. And this is a new thing and we don't really know. So they've gone with the new.
Reform the Party is a racist party. The values and morals they have are racist. However, the people who voted for them are people whose children we teach. They're the parents in our schools, and a lot of them, they're just desperate, and they're also looking for someone to blame.
We are here to say racism is not the answer. Anti-immigrant rhetoric is not the answer. A lot of our members are teaching refugee children in their classes alongside other children. Children don't see that division. Children just get on, they play together, they'll learn together. The division is caused by adults out there in the community deliberately stoking hatred and division. We need to be looking at the billionaire class, we need to be looking at the economic elites and not punching down at desperate people crossing the channel in small boats, or the trans community, or the queer community.
We've had pride flags taken down outside of County Hall on the weekend of Pride.
Darren Grimes, the deputy leader of our council, is gay, no problem. But for a gay man to vote to have the flag taken down from County Hall, that seems very odd to me.
As educators, we have LGBT plus members, but we also support our LGBT plus students, and we need them to know that we have their backs.
The county councillors get an allowance each, and each of those councillors put into the Pride pot so we could have Durham Pride. This year, they haven't, and they're not going to in the future. But the trade unions have stepped up to the plate and they've said, we'll fund it, it will go ahead. Yesterday we found out that Caswell Banner couldn't get the band because their local councillor, who's Reform, wouldn't give the funding that they normally get. But it won't happen next year. They can please themselves what they fund or don't fund, but they won't stop us doing what we do best, and that's fighting for each other.
We're not going to take what the current government's given, and we're definitely not going to take what our council is going to try and do.
They've just recently voted to stop any funding to go into protecting the environment against global warming. They don't believe in global warming.
One of the things that was muted was around the local government pension scheme. I am telling Reform absolutely categorically right now, if they think they're hard enough, come and have a go, because they will not get away with that.
We have over 800 members in Durham NEU that are in that scheme. We are preparing to fight them through industrial dispute strategies.
We have support staff in our schools who are on £15,000 a year. You can earn more at Tesco's. And Reform talk about this golden pension. I'm telling the Reform councillors, you come and work in one of our schools for a month. See how many times you're punished. See how hard it is to work with a child who has trauma, who struggles to read 4 or 5 years below where they should be, but try to build their confidence at the same time. And then go and use a food bank at the end of the week because your wage doesn't cover your essential bills. How dare you? How absolutely dare you? We will not tolerate you going for what you deem to be the weakest.
We believe that schools are the heart of the community and that schools play an immensely powerful part in holding communities together, keeping people united, having a focus.
I'm a history teacher, and one of the things that I teach is looking at the miners' strike of 1984-85, and I teach that with 14-year-olds, celebrating the history of coal mining and the history of struggle in our communities, of which the vast majority of the students on our catchment area come from. One thing that's so important to emphasise is the support that those communities received from other groups who were under attack from the Thatcher government, recognising that different groups of people need to unite and combine their struggles in order to make a better world for all of us. And that goes for international issues too, like the Palestinian people striving to fight for their nationhood against a very aggressive Israeli war machine.
We can't rely on the structures that already exist to do what we want. Successive governments have demolished the NHS, they're demolishing the welfare state, they've demolished public services. So it's up to us now to think about what can we do to create a better community. With National Women's Action for Positive Change, which is the legacy group from National Women Against Pit Closures, we are holding regular coffee mornings now, women's coffee mornings once a month, with no political agenda, just women coming together, having a cuppa, doing something creative and chatting. And the whole idea for us is we need to get those spaces back in our communities where people can talk, and through conversation education happens. We can find out what the issues are. We can talk about solutions to issues, and we can get women active in the change rather than relying on people like Reform who aren't going to do anything for our communities.
You can do great things, and you can do it with next to nothing. We don't have to sit down and think about it. We do it. That's what we did. And that's what we're encouraging young women to do now. When the Miners' Union was formed, the money that the men gave went to good causes in our communities. It built welfare halls, community centres as we're called now. It bought land for leisure facilities. It was owned by us. We have the first NHS because the miners paid towards their own doctors. Red Hills used to give educational grants to families of miners. So the importance of education within the mining communities has always been high up on the list. The uneducated will be unable to fight back. The educated will fight back. If governments are not going to do stuff for us, we'll do it ourselves, like we've always done.